Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining in and viewing this event. I'm Pankaj Gupta. I'm VP Engineering at Coinbase and also the site lead for Coinbase India. I joined Coinbase a few months ago to establish and lead a new tech hub for Coinbase in India. I would like to welcome Manish, Executive VP Engineering and Coinbase, and my manager for being part of today's event.
Thank you, Pankaj. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Manish, I thought today we would do a free flowing conversation about various topics that could be of interest to candidates who are interested in Coinbase, who knows maybe they're applying or maybe they might consider applying to Coinbase, especially in India, after listening to this. And I would like to start with Manish, just your personal story. You're nearing a year at Coinbase now, and you've had quite a bit of experience in various tech companies, including our common company, Google. So please tell us about your life journey and journey to Coinbase.
I think I'll start all the way from the beginning. How about that?
Please do.
Okay, so I was born and brought up in Bombay, Mumbai, India, and got my bachelor's from there. Came to US for master's, went to Urbana-Champaign, and then ended up in the Silicon Valley, the place where technology happens, and ended up joining a company called Excite at Home. This was very early days. So that was the dream. And that company did not last too long. So that introduced me to Google. And I joined Google when it was tiny, just 200 people. We were 80 engineers. I did not know who my manager was. I was an IC working on billing and payments, then moved on to work on advertising, YouTube. At the end of the day, at the end of 16 years there, I became responsible for what we call the advertiser platform. So this was everything that advertisers would need and use to set up their marketing campaigns and get the best ROI on their advertising spend. So this was going really well. However, I was there for 16 years and a big project was landing. So, and Lyft came calling at a very opportune time. And I got excited about the mission about improving people's lives with world's best transportation. So ended up at Lyft. And however, transportation came to a complete halt because of COVID. So that was last year when I got introduced to crypto. And crypto, I feel like it's embarrassing to admit, honestly, that I had not learned about crypto as much over the last several years. But then when I dug into it, I got blown away by the technology. I felt the engineering juices flowing in me all over again, which was super exciting. And then I spent some time learning about the crypto ecosystem, how much innovation is happening in this space, and that blew my mind. And then, of course, finally, I learned about Coinbase as a company, and the mission, vision, values, they all really resonated with me. It's a very long term mission of increasing economic freedom. We take a very long term view, right, of things, the way the company operates. It's a technologically very deep domain, ends up attracting really good talent, and really it's at the end of the day feels like early days of internet, similar to what I felt at Google, like early days of internet, right? This is the early days of internet of value, I should say. So given all of that, I ended up joining Coinbase. It's been a fascinating ride, and I would say my conviction about crypto has just grown multifold in the last 1 year. And on top of that, I feel like we are even earlier than what I thought we were in the crypto journey. I feel like this is the dawn of the day one of Coinbase.
Thank you. Thank you for walking us through that journey. You made an intriguing comment, and indeed, you mentioned the strong parallels to early days at Google, and you were very early in Google, as you said. What are some of the parallels you're seeing, Manish? And while talking about the parallel, also would love to understand from you what makes Coinbase different from any of your past experiences, especially Google.
Yeah, I think Google is the place where I spent most of my career. So I think maybe a comparison to what I experienced at Google to what I'm experiencing at Coinbase is probably the most apt. So let me start with some similarities, right? Like there is this relentless focus on quality, customer obsession. As I said, very long-term view, very inspiring mission and vision. So like Google's has been about democratizing information. Coinbase is about democratizing finance. The other thing I think that is clearly common is very rapid and repeatable innovation built in a very thoughtful way, right? And truly building for scale. Because again, with a very long term view, you can place bets for the really long term that when you're building systems, you're not building for the current user base, you are also building for the users that are about to come. If you think about it, our current users at Coinbase is like just north of 50 to 60 million users. And we are just at the beginning, right? Like we will get to a billion plus users to realize our mission. And having that long term view, having a relentless focus on building for scale for the long term for billions of users is what makes the two companies very similar, I think. In terms of differences, I would call out maybe a few things. One is that Google started in a time when there were not as many software as a service providers out there. So everything pretty much had to be built from scratch, like all the support systems, things that we currently take for granted as software as a service. There was no AWS, for example, right? So everything had to be built on your own. And that culture has remained at Google, I think. And Coinbase, I think, has clearly been very open to buying and using services which are not necessarily our strengths, right? That's not the place where we may want to spend our energy. And that allows us as a company to channel our own resources to the things that are clearly aligned with our mission and just to have the most impact we can have with fewer resources. So that I think is a big difference. The other difference I can call out is like decision making. I think Google's experience, my experience has been that it's primarily consensus driven. We tried to build consensus, which sometimes took a while to arrive to decisions. One thing we used to say at Google is that everybody could say no, nobody could say a yes. And I find the Coinbase culture actually very different from that. At Coinbase, there is a clear DRI driven culture. There are no committees and there is working groups, but then there is a clear decision maker for everything that we are doing, which makes it very easy to move really fast and have a forward progress. And the other thing that comes with it is a more written culture. So, and that dovetails into other things like remote first, which we can talk about later. But there is a heavy emphasis on on written culture, which makes it possible to re- reevaluate the reasons why a decision was made. You can have documentation on why a decision was made. And if you need to reopen something, you have some artifacts. So you know that if there was some material change that has happened to the assumptions, otherwise you keep reopening the decisions over and over. So written culture really helps.
Yeah.
And final thing, I think Google still runs on email, at least until I was there. Coinbase runs on Slack, which also makes it actually very fast.
Yeah, to the viewers, I was also in Google right before I joined Coinbase. So I was not there for as long as Manish was, but I have a more up-to-date kind of a feeling about the company. It's a wonderful company, but all the points that Manish mentioned, they definitely resonate with me. And yes, Google is still running on email, Manish. Anyways, you mentioned remote first. Let's talk about that. Coinbase has taken a stance on being remote first. As I understand, it might be the biggest company which has declared itself to be remote first. What does remote first mean? And to start off, why are we doing it at all?
Yeah, so what does remote first mean? I think so. Just to understand the definition of that, you can draw a parallel to mobile first, right? Which many people might be familiar with. So, remote first means that you should get the same experience as an employee if you are working remotely or from the office. So, the entire experience is optimized around you being able to work remotely effectively. So, that's what remote first means. So, your question was why remote first? Well, let's talk about that. So talent is everywhere, right? And I think COVID has made us realize that opportunities can go to people. People don't need to move to opportunities anymore. And it has made even more clear that people can be effective from anywhere in the world as long as they have a good internet connection. So, leaning into that, we think, given the fact that talent is everywhere, we want to be able to attract the top talent across the globe. And hence, we are leaning heavily into remote first. Um, I'm sure you will agree that this could be the future of work
Mm-hmm.
because you can actually be effective as long as you have a good connection, as I said. And this allows us to also lean in into further things like written culture, scale. It allows us to scale better. So, forcing remote or making remote first brings certain discipline in how we work, which becomes the foundation for how we scale over time. And finally, I will say that this also enables us to do decentralization of our workforce, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
is very much in line with the ethos of crypto itself.
Mm-hmm. Any tools of the trade that we are seeking to improve or perfect, in order to satisfy our goals of being remote first?
Oh, absolutely. So it can be challenging if you don't think of remote first in a thoughtful manner. And we have spent some time from our experience, from our mistakes. So one thing we have done is thought about organizing ourselves in what we call regions. And in the physical world, like in other companies, these would be called sites. You have sites for individual cities or countries. The way we are thinking about it is that we just have three big regions in the world where we operate, and the regions are pretty big. These are essentially Americas, EMEA, and APAC. And what does this mean really? That it basically means that you can have a team within a region because you are remote first. You can have like a pod of engineers. They don't have to be in the same city. They can be in on any latitude as long as they are within those appropriate time zones. So they can, for example, in Americas, you could have a team that is spread across all the way from Canada to the south of America to Latin America, and they can be on the same team as long as they can operate in the similar time zone. So setting ourselves in regions also enables us to, by the way, hire really diverse teams, which I think is a pretty
Mm-hmm.
compelling advantage that we can get out by leaning in remote first. So regions is one. The other tools which I touched upon, written culture, I think that definitely helps with remote first. Um, we minimize meetings, try to do more things async. As you are seeing, there's a pattern, right? All these things feed into each other. Um, so align on appropriate meeting hours because you're in the same time zone. Leave some time for async work, and yeah, lean heavily in written culture as well.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've certainly experienced that in just a few months that I've been here. Um,
One other thing I'll
and
add, Pankaj,
Mhm.
just I think the fact that we are only three regions and really large regions, it actually means that each region can have a huge variety of projects,
Mm,
right? So previously, normally, when there would be a very small site for a company that has some massive headquarters, the engineers and the team members in that site would be very limited to the kinds of things they can work on because they can only work on projects that are within that particular small site. But given that we are talking about only three large regions in the world, and each region having like a huge number of employees from Coinbase, you could there will be just so much flexibility, and the options for people to work on can be just massive. So you feel like you're in a headquarters essentially. You get the headquarter like feeling no matter where you are.
yeah, in fact, as you said, that's the decentralization at play, and there's no headquarters. Each of the three, hopefully, are equal, and there's no kind of driver, leader, and a follower amongst that because they're that big. But moving on to, so what we touched on various aspects of our culture, and at Coinbase we are very driven. We are motivated by living through our values, our mission. Can you please walk us through them, Manish?
Oh, totally. So let me zoom back out and let's just talk about what our mission and strategy is. So our mission is to increase the economic freedom in the world, right? And you might ask, how would you do that? And we think the way to do that is to building an open financial system that everybody has access to. It is frictionless. And then the question is, okay, well, how would you do that? And that's where our strategy comes into play. So we think of our strategy in three clear prongs. One is crypto as an investment, second is crypto as a financial system, and third is crypto as an app platform. So let me just maybe dig a little bit deeper on each one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So crypto as an investment basically means that you as a user should be able to access crypto, use it for investment purposes, buying, holding, sending, receiving, like basic functionality with crypto with ease. And this is where we can get to a place by simplification and making our product fully accessible across the globe, getting to billion plus users.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a huge opportunity here for us as a company to making crypto a very accessible form of investment.
Mm-hmm.
The next is then crypto as a new financial system. And this builds upon the first prong, where you then provide access to variety of financial services that traditionally it's very challenging for people to get access to. So there is a huge population in the world that is unbanked. There is a huge population that is underbanked. And this is where we can move the needle in solving that problem and making it possible for billions of users to have ready access to tremendous amounts of services in finance. And the third one is actually, sorry, go ahead, Pankaj, you were going to say something.
No, I was just going to just add that what I like about this mission is that it's our company's mission, but also it's a broader mission than just our company. And using crypto as a driver for these goals is just beyond one company, and that again goes back to the decentralization ethos of crypto. So I love it. But please continue, Manish.
Yeah, and the final prong of the strategy is crypto as an app platform. And this is a very interesting one because if you think about it, blockchain is a new primitive which enables us to store value on the internet in a very decentralized way. And so that's just the basic blockchain. And we are creating a bunch of primitives on top, which is creating wallet as a primitive, like storage is a primitive, investing is a primitive, decentralized identification could be a primitive. Like all of these things can be made into services that we expose to other companies and developers to be able to easily build their own products and services on top of those. So this is truly, again, to the ethos of the company of default to open and making our products and services available for other people to build upon and truly accelerating the evolution and adoption of the crypto economy and hence helping us collectively move faster towards the mission of creating more economic freedom in the world.
Mm-hmm. Can you maybe go a little bit deeper into our values? We talked about the mission and the strategy, but in a day-to-day, what does it mean? What does it translate to?
So actually, there is a very good blog post that was recently put out about our culture tenets. And it's a very crisp articulation of the 9 tenets that we have. So I'll touch upon a few of them. The first and foremost is clear communication. We are very direct and succinct in our communication at the company. It all feeds in very well to the next value, which we call efficient execution. So the idea is to move fast. We focus on the 20% of the work that can get us to the 80% of the impact, make that happen fast, right? And let the perfect become the enemy of the good. The other ones I can call out is we expect everyone to act like an owner, right? If you see a problem, you take responsibility, you improve systems around you. It doesn't have to be part of your job. Other things I can call out are repeatable innovation. That's actually something that I really, really think is deep because it's about you can break it up into 2 parts: repeatable innovation, and what we mean by that is truly innovating while also building systems that enable us to continue to innovate fast in a very repeatable manner. So repeatable innovation is a big attribute. Of course, top talent in every seat. We look to hire the best. We think we are creating a great company here, and with top talent, you actually help everyone grow and reach their full potential. Right? There is positive energy. We are a very humble group of people with lots of optimism and positive energy. So I would say these are the values, and I'm sure I must have missed one or two. So I'll just refer you to look at the blog post, which actually lays this out very clearly and succinctly.
And a plug for everyone watching to visit our the URL blog.coinbase.com, where all our blogs live, including this blog post that Manish just mentioned. Let's talk about engineering a little bit. Manish, as the head of engineering, what's your vision for Coinbase engineering?
So it actually flows very well with the culture and the overall mission of the company that we just talked about. I mean, top talent in every seat is clearly one of them. I think we are in a technically very deep domain. We attract really top talent because it's a very exciting domain with lots of impact, right? So using that as a way to attract the best and hope that they will, once they are here, they will do their life's best work. We can make this the best place to work for everyone, and where everyone can continue to grow to their fullest potential and actually even further their potential by learning new skills. Because there is just so much that we do as a company across the board, and one can have multiple teams and multiple careers within Coinbase over the course of their career journey at Coinbase, right? And all of that to, of course, as an engineering team, collectively with the rest of the functions, making tremendous impact to towards our mission, which is increasing economic freedom by again applying things like repeatable innovation, so ensuring that we are able to move fast while still building platforms in a way that enable faster innovation.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to India specific stuff, you hired me to build and grow a tech hub in India. How does Coinbase's expansion into India fit into this mission that you have outlined?
I mean, you know this very well, Pankaj. There is a tremendous talent pool in India, especially talent pool that is very interested in contributing to crypto. And I think that's a tremendous opportunity. It's an alignment of goals. So we are using this as an opportunity to expand into India and tap into the great talent pool that we have. So India is also known for a large software development community, right? Again, it's pretty clear we have we have a huge number of like universities in India that is actually creating the leaders of the future, and tapping into that resource is obviously a big opportunity as well. And then the the crypto community, as I mentioned, that already exists. It's small today, but it is growing very fast, right? You yourself are very involved in crypto, and you're involved in many crypto forums. So you know that there is like a fledgling, like a community of crypto enthusiasts that can that I think we can tap into. So we are very interested in not only developing this community, right, but also tapping into that community to see if there are opportunities to work together and just align on the mission of the company and build a great talent pool for contributing to the overall mission of the company.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The energy is just palpable. It's just growing and bubbling, and so I'm excited to be here to for that. And I will turn it over to you, Manish, if I can
Yeah.
kind of give more color on our India.
So yeah, Pankaj, actually on that note, why don't you tell us about what the hiring plans are for India?
Oh, we have very ambitious plans for the India Tech Hub. I published a blog post on this in early July, again on blog.coinbase.com, which I encourage everyone who's watching this or listening this to check out. But I wanted to recap 3 points from that blog post. One was just the numbers. We are starting from zero, but we want to hire hundreds of folks across various roles: engineering, product design, TPM, and at all levels. So we are hiring as fast as we can. And likewise, we are interested in acquihires and acquisitions to help us in that goal. But also, in order to have a well-rounded tech hub, we are hiring in other core functions which will support this tech organization, such as recruiting and HR. And also, I want to say that it's not just about numbers. We want to create an absolute best world-class tech hub. And so it's not about quantity. Other facets like diversity and overall quality. These are I know are very very important to Coinbase, and it's also something I personally deeply care about.
So, given that you're doing so much hiring in India, Pankaj, with your experience at Google and Google India, how do you think we should structure the engineering org to ensure that there is to ensure success in our India hub?
Yeah, no, this is a very, very important question, and Manish, you and I have discussed at length, and we think that we have put a lot of thought into it. So there's a few learnings from my past experience in working in such cross-continent setups. I think the key is to create rather independent teams led by local leaders with local charters, rather than have cross-continent manager relationships at a more junior level, because otherwise there's poorer quality of life on both sides, US and India, as lots of people have to be on calls at odd hours otherwise, and folks feel less empowered, things move slower. And Coinbase is an especially fast moving place. There's so many exciting initiatives and projects. We are spinning up new initiatives and projects all the time. We care a lot about engineers feeling empowered and having ownership of these projects. So I think we have intentionally planned out this kind of org principles, and a continuously learning environment, an org structure which hopefully will maximize local decision making, growth, and empowerment, and as you said, overall impact.
So, what are the areas that you are going to be hiring for? What is the working model going to look like?
Yeah, these teams, as you said, because of these various regions thinking that we have, they will work in pretty much all major areas over time that Coinbase works in today. And just to remind all the viewers, Coinbase works in various areas, infrastructure, cloud, platform, payments, crypto, blockchains, data engineering, machine learning, growth, product engineering, and I'm probably missing a few. Um, and these teams in India, again, to your question about the working model, to expand on what we were just talking about, these teams in India will be led by local engineering directors. They will have large and independent charters, and they're being intentionally set up for local decision making to optimize for velocity and impact. They will work on a combination of projects that will support both our global products and systems, as well as projects in the greater APAC region. Um, we believe this will increase the speed, the empowerment. Again, very important for me and for you and for just overall health of the tech hub. We are hiring roles, both senior and junior, across not just engineering, but deliberately we have made the decision that we're also hiring product management and user experience and design and program management, so that it's a well-rounded tech hub.
So, Pankaj, what does the work environment look like?
Um, Same as Coinbase anywhere else. And given a remote first strategy, we offer a truly flexible and modern work environment. And just to echo what we were talking about at the beginning of this session, we are hiring from all parts of India. And India is a large country, and but we are hiring from all parts in order to find the best talent wherever they are and wherever they choose to work from. It's been quite interesting. We already have talent from various states and cities and towns of India, which and they want to stay there, whether it's in their hometowns or where their family members are working. We do plan to complement this with maybe a couple of physical offices in key cities as well at some point, to have a hybrid, flexible environment. And again, this is in keeping with what we are planning to do at Coinbase globally.
I heard you're giving crypto to new hires in India.
Yeah, yeah, indeed we are. And it's important that our new hires in India truly understand the products and services that they're helping to deliver. That's why we introduced a program called Sikka, which is short for Coinbase India Sikka, offering each new hire in India one-time $1,000 in crypto when they start, so that they can use our app. They can play around with it, because that's the app that they're working on. And our expectation is that they will leverage this offering to learn about crypto, and will use this knowledge to help us build the next generations of product features to delight our customers everywhere in APAC and around the world.
That sounds so exciting, Pankaj. Thank you for doing that. So, to close the conversation off, Pankaj, can you share more details on what specifically are you hiring for in India, and what are you looking for in these hires?
Yeah, maybe this is a lot of it is similar to other tech companies, but there is a few attributes again that I'm very focused on hiring at this point, which is that you have to be nimble and innovative. That's because we are starting from scratch in India. It feels like a startup which is growing, and so you want to make an impact and contribute to our overall mission of increasing economic freedom in the world. And second is, we are looking for builders. And I think the word builder captures everything about what we are looking for. Builders who want to create products. They are interested in crypto. They want to drive the global crypto economy forward.
That's awesome.
Well, thanks a lot, Manish, for spending the time and sharing your views. This has been a wonderful conversation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for setting this conversation up, Pankaj. I'm super excited to hear about all the great things that are coming together in India. And I know you're just getting started. So appreciate all the incredible work that you and the team are doing there.
Thank you, Manish, and thanks everyone for joining us today. I look forward to connecting with you all soon in various forums. If you're interested in Coinbase, please visit our career site, check out our blogs. We are hiring across roles and levels. Thank you very much.